What we're going to do now is create the frame here for the skylight. And let me show you what I'm talking about by pulling up the reference image again so we can see. This is what I'm talking about here. We need to create basically this kind of frame out here for the imaginary glass of our skylight that's going to go on top of the roof there, okay? So we don't have to create exactly like the concept image, but we do need some kind of a frame up there for the glass. We can't just leave an open hole up there. It doesn't look very right, and honestly it doesn't look very interesting. So how can we do this? Well, there's about 1,001 different ways that we can actually create that type of frame in 3ds Max or any 3D package for that matter. I'm going to show you one way that works out pretty well. It's very easy and it's very fast. So let's go ahead and do that. What I'm going to do is select the house geometry here, and I'm going to hit Alt and Q to isolate the selection. I'm going to come in here, okay? I'm going to go to the Creation tab, and I'm going to switch from Windows to Standard Primitives, and I'm going to go to Plane, okay? I'm going to turn on Snaps, and I'm going to create a plane on the top of the opening, basically like a cover. So let's go ahead and do that. Very easy to do when you have snaps turned on. Right-click to end the creation, turn snaps off by hitting S on the keyboard again. Let's hit 2 on the keyboard to go to the Modify panel quickly, and let's take the length segments and width segments, knock that down to 1. Can't have that at 4. Okay, so I have just basically this one polygon face. Now to be able to edit it, of course, I'm going to have to convert this to an editable poly as usual, and there we go. Okay, let's exit isolation mode, and there's our polygon right now that's covering the top of our hole there. And what we're going to do is we're going to create something very similar in shape to the concept image, what we have there. I'm going to select this polygon here. I'm going to right click to go to the quad menu, and I'm going to hit the inset options here, okay? I'm going to inset this, and it doesn't matter how much we inset it. Let me hit Alt and X to go to see-through mode. Makes things a lot easier. And I'm going to inset this. Again, it doesn't matter. I don't have a blueprint for this, so it doesn't matter how much I inset it. I'm just basically following my instincts here and doing what looks right to me. So I'm going to do something maybe like this. It's pretty good, not bad. And I'll hit OK. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll take that polygon I just created and I'll move it up. Now again, there's no blueprint for this, so there's no right and wrong. I can move this up basically wherever I need it to. I'm going to move it up to something like this, which looks very similar to the concept image. Okay, so we have a skylight like that. And there we go. And right now, it's just a polygon, as you can see. Okay, which is not exactly what we have in the concept image, of course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edge Mode. I'm going to hit Control A to select all the edges. Alright? And what I'm going to do is go to the quad menu. And at the bottom of the quad menu here, we have this Create Shape command. Okay, we haven't used this before. We're going to use it now. Click on that, and it's going to ask you what you want to call the name of your new shape, and if you want it to be smooth or linear. Smooth is going to make it very organic and smooth. We're not making something organic or smooth or curvy. We're doing something linear, so we'll select linear. Also for the name, I'll go ahead and give this a name now since 3ds Max is suggesting that I do. And I'm going to call this probably the Skylight Frame. Okay? Makes sense. I'll hit OK, and it looks like nothing happened. Let me get out of Edge Mode. I'll make sure I select this pink polygon plane here, and I'm going to hide it. But before I hide it, let's change the name here from Plane 02 so it's easier to find later in case I need it. I'm going to call it Skylight Original, because I know it's the original geometry I used to create the skylight there. Then I'm going to go to the quad menu and hide that selection. And you can see what we're left with is basically this editable spline object. As we can see here in the modifier stack, it is an editable spline, and it's basically created from the edges of that polygon object that we just hit. Alright? So what can we do with this? Well, what we can do is go to the rendering parameter rollout here for the editable spline, and we have a couple of options here. We can check on the enable in renderer and enable in viewport parameters. So if I check both of those on, basically what happens is this becomes a 3D object. Sort of a virtual 3D object, as you can see. Okay? And we have a few options here. We can make this radial so it's nice and round, as you can see. or we can make it rectangular so it's got sort of this squarish shape to it, which I'm going to say that I don't like. Okay, I'm going to keep it radial. Looks nice, very nice. Okay, and we have sort of a base here for it, and then we have these sort of poles that make up the frame for the window here. And if we look at this from the inside, it looks pretty good. Doesn't look exactly like the concept image, but that's okay. This looks pretty good. I like this. I actually like this better than the concept image. Okay? So that pretty much is going to do it for creating the frame there. Again, that's just one of about 1,001 ways that we can create a frame for our skylight. Okay? And down here we have a number of sides. Right now it's set to 12 sides. We can reduce that to make this look more primitive and more faceted. Or we can increase that. I'm going to keep it to 12 sides to make it nice and roundish. Okay, which looks pretty good. We can also change the thickness here, make this thicker or thinner. The default is about 1 inch thickness. I'm going to leave it at the default, it's fine. If you want to make it thicker, that's fine. I'm going to leave it like this. This looks pretty good to me. Okay, right. So I'm going to say I'm happy with this, and that's going to do it for that. If we wanted to, we can convert this to an editable poly. And now we can actually edit this ourselves. So we can select the edges and move them around and do all kinds of stuff. Okay? But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and leave it alone. I'm going to undo and leave it as an editable spline for now. If I need to change it to an editable poly for whatever reason, I have to come and edit it later, then I'll do that. For now, I'll just leave it as an editable spline. Okay? And that's going to do it for the skylight frame up here. Okay, so I told you it was going to be pretty quick and easy to do that skylight frame, and there you go. That's one way to do it. I'm going to end this video here, and in the next video, we're going to start working on the stairs of our house here. If we come over here, we can see that we're missing our stairs. All we have is these placeholder ramps. We need to start making some stairs, and the stairs is going to be a little bit more involved than pretty much anything else we've been doing so far. It's going to be more complex, one of the more complex aspects of this project. So we'll start that in the next series of videos and get that done.